So if we're talking about throwbacks and guest stars of lead characters on other shows, we have to talk about Ned's Declassified too. Obviously, they've had a huge resurgence in bringing back their brand since like 2, 3, 4 years ago with the Ned's Declassified rewatch podcast, which really fun to actually go back and listen along with them and hear their behind the scenes secrets. There's not a lot of times where they like departed from this franchise in their film and acting history, but there definitely were some really significant milestones. So we definitely have to get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, focusing on 2000s movies, TV, and so much more.
Check out your music. And any interest in doing TV again?
Absolutely.
I wanted to start by mentioning the smaller characters, like, for example, the guy who played, like, Martin Corley. Tyler Chase has been suffering a lot when we see it all over social media, so it's really kind of a depressing thing to watch somebody struggle so much and it becomes such a public experience. It's really such a personal thing he's going through, and unfortunately, like, it's really hard for him to get help right now. But seeing everybody, like, care and actually try to help him is really heartwarming. We have the main guy, Billy Loomer, was a part of this. He plays the bully, Kyle Swan, I believe the actor's name is. And he actually wasn't in a lot of stuff outside of Ned's Declassified. Same thing with Rob Pinkson, who plays Coconut Head. Although he was in the show Punk'd, which is kind of cool, I think. I think that's kind of cool.
Ooh. Well, you could always just work up the loan.
The girl who plays Missy Meany actually did have a big career outside of Ned's Declassified, which is interesting. Her name is Carly Casey, and she plays this, like, antagonist love interest. I don't even know how to describe it on Ned's Declassified. She was on about 23 episodes throughout this whole series, which is kind of a lot considering the show is around 60. She made a bunch of appearances as the character Mercedes on Big Time Rush in the episode Big Time Demos and Big Time Party. And there was really interesting because I love watching her interact with the boys from Big Time Rush. It's interesting because obviously the guy Scott Fellows, who created Ned's Declassified, also created Big Time Rush. So it's cool that that connection kind of brought her to that show as well. She was briefly on an episode of New Girl, Hawaii Five-0, and House, a bunch of shows that we do not cover on this channel, so we're moving on. Our girl Lisa Zemo, who's played by Rachel Sibner, she's not in anything else. I can't really find a lot of stuff with her in it. I mean, she's in this 2007 movie Miriam, but I don't know. It's interesting that she was like only focused on this show too.
I am also the voice of Mr. Turner and Jorgen from, The Furies.
Of course, the biggest star-studded cast member is Darren Nordland, who literally plays Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents, and he plays Gordy the janitor here, which is such a good role for him. He is born to play this role. He was on a series of old TV shows like Mad TV, Desperate Housewives, but this is kind of the gold mine with the teen shows. Like, for example, he plays this guy named Buddha Bob, which is a recurring role similar to his role of Gordy, and it kind of feels like a weird sequel character in a way. Yeah, but that's no surprise because clearly he went from Ned's Declassified to Big Time Rush. That was expected. He was a recurring role on the adult show Veronica Mars from 2004 to 2007, which was the exact same years as Ned's Declassified, so I don't know if he was like jumping sets or something, but that's really interesting to note. He had a little bit of a role on Dog with a Blog, that Disney Channel show. He's in the episode Stan's Secret is Out, which is kind of cute to just see him make an appearance. And he comes back to the 2016 Nickelodeon show 100 Things to Do Before High School, playing a janitor, which is kind of crazy because if you've ever seen that show, it feels like a casual pilot for a Ned's Declassified reboot type show where it's like following three characters basically having tips to survive high school. So I don't know, that's crazy to me. And of course he plays Cosmo and Mr. Turner in the live-action Fairly Odd Parents TV shows, which is super cool. My favorite role of his, though, is Diamond Head in the 2007 Ben 10 Race Against Time TV movie. Like, that was something I did not expect happening at all. So yeah, Gordy's definitely a cool character. I really like seeing him involved in all of this. Susie Crabgrass, which is Ned's main love interest, was in a variety of other shows. She was a background in Zoe 101 with the school dance episode. She was featured as Heather Perez in the Disney Channel original movie Cowbells from 2006. Didn't see that coming. And then she was also a guest on Hannah Montana, playing the character Alexa, The Idle Side of Me. Weird reference. Then she was also on The Walking Dead, Love, Death, and Robots. The Secret Life of the American Teenager is probably the most prominent because she was on like 9 episodes as a character named Raven, which is really exciting. But without further ado, let's get into the main cast. Daniel Curtis Lee, the guy playing Cookie, the tech nerd in this TV show, is one of my personal favorites because he was a main character on a second show, Zeke and Luther. Yeah, it took me a while to like make the connection between the two, but yeah, and he plays like completely opposite parts. Like on Ned's Declassified, he's like a nerd, and on Zeke and Luther, he's a skate jock. Kind of crazy. I mean, he's doing it pretty ironically, but for the most part, it's really funny.
You ready to bust out your 11s, ladies? Cause it's Kojo time.
He was on Good Luck Charlie, apparently. I didn't realize Disney liked him so much. He was on a lot of Disney stuff.
Enjoying myself so far.
And he was in 2 episodes of that. He played Raymond Ray Ray Blues, and he was in the Singin' Dancin' Duncans episode, and Let's Potty. Oh my gosh, how did I miss all this? Something just as interesting is his appearance on Glee. Yeah, Glee had a lot of teen stars come to this. I mean, first one that comes to my head is Hugh Norris from Wizards of Waverly Place. Yeah, he was a main character on Glee. In this one, Daniel plays Philip Phil Lipoff.
Order is restored.
From the first episode of season 4 of Glee, which that's exactly when I fell off, unfortunately. But still crazy to believe that he was in here. And no, he doesn't sing in any of the musical numbers, which is actually really disappointing to me. It's not a teen show, but he was also on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend in 2015. That was a musical comedy starring Rachel Bloom. And it was really funny. I honestly recommend watching that one. That was one of my favorite shows at the time. But yeah, he was in that too. Wow. This guy really got around. Overall, though, Zeke and Luther was probably my favorite. He was on it for like 3 years, and he plays Kojo Jonesworth. And oh my gosh, that's just probably one of my favorite roles of his. But let's move on for now. Lindsay Shaw plays the main role of Mose in Ned's Declassified, and she was also on a fair share of other shows. Most notably, she's like talked about this like very publicly. She was on Pretty Little Liars for quite some time. It's not one of the teen shows we cover, but it's...
I feel better about myself. You were a terrible person, Allison. And I hated you for it. I didn't care if you were dead. I was happy you were gone.
Pretty interesting. She was also on 10 Things I Hate About You, which was also another TV show that she was actually the lead role in from 2009 to 2010. This in itself was based off of a movie, and it was an ABC show, and Lindsay Shaw ends up playing a goth girl, which gets into a lot of fights, and honestly, it's like pretty relevant. I don't hear her talk about this show as much as the other ones, but for me, this is always a really interesting one, especially since she was the lead. Like, I can't believe Daniel Curtis Lee and Lindsay Shaw were both, like, leads in new shows almost pretty quickly after Ned's Declassified. God, this show is, like, the epitome of what the 2000s were in a nutshell, right down to the narrative voiceover in the trailer, and I can't even get over it, but it is kind of cool because it's, like, such a piece of time.
Love you. A new ABC Family original series.
So yeah, Disney really liked her too. I don't know what this appeal is with Disney taking all these teen Nick stars and like putting them as leads in their shows. Definitely kind of a weird move on their part. But yeah, I can't find that much else outside of this, including like animated roles. I feel like maybe just all these episodes in leading roles must have just took all the wind out of her, because this is a lot of content to do after that. Of course, now she's on the Ned's pod with Daniel and Devon, so that's kind of cool, I guess. So Ned is played by Devon Werkheiser. It's funny because he spent a lot of time on other shows as guest stars, but never really another Nickelodeon or Disney Channel show, which is kind of surprising to me considering he was like a lead. The one that's the most worth mentioning is Shredder Man Rules, the Nickelodeon TV movie from 2007. So he plays a nerd, once again, not super surprising. His biggest personality trait is that he's tech savvy, which is kind of crazy thinking about the times we're living in now. But it really works for Devon, so I'm not super surprised. The movie's based on a book series, and he does a really good job at like portraying the role. Its campiness is a lot like Ned's Declassified, so it doesn't feel super out of the realm. The only thing noticeable for me is his hair is slightly longer, but hey, I just noticed that stuff because it's my job. It's so funny because this type of Nickelodeon TV movie is the thing I actually did with Nickelodeon a couple years ago. So thinking about that this could have been like something that I created is kind of weird to me. And the guest stars in this movie are ridiculous. They literally have like Tim Meadows, David Coulier, Mindy Sterling. Like, I don't know how they got so many big celebrities to be a part of this. This is crazy. Even Miss Briggs makes an appearance as one of the teachers, which, why? all around, though, it's a cool experience because we don't see Ned outside of anything beside Ned's. Weirdly enough, you could watch this entire movie on YouTube. It's just uploaded in full. I don't know why Nickelodeon's not stopping that. And then, of course, he spent a lot of time in cartoons. Like, he was in Casper's Scare School playing the main role, which was kind of interesting. It was right around the time Ned's was in its second season, so that was an interesting choice. He was also on American Dad, Glenn Martin, DDS, Criminal Minds. I don't even know what else to get into about this. He was definitely beloved though as a lead in one of my favorite shows growing up. Like this was somebody that was really coming through with the tips back then. He even as a personal entity tried to revive Ned's Declassified in a couple skit videos throughout the years, which I found super cool. But nowadays, they just do a podcast, which highlights a lot of 2000 stuff like I do, which shout out to you guys. But yeah, that's kind of it. So yeah, that's all the Ned's Declassified cameos. Definitely more than I was expecting going into this video. I mean, I knew Mose was on a lot of other things. I didn't realize that Devon Werkheiser wasn't on as many things as I thought. And of course, my boy Cookie, definitely one of my favorite characters on multiple shows. And the fact he was on Glee, I'm never going to get past that, I don't think. Join me as I have a couple more shows I'm going to cover from Nick, and then I can't wait to get into Disney. Thank you guys so much for contributing and watching these videos. It means the world to me. It's really hard to get this channel like up and going, but it's definitely supportive when you guys like and share, so thank you guys so much. And until next time, everybody, have a great day.